All right, you looking live at Generation to Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, DJ. I tell you what, aka Mr. Jules, and I have my dad, Cowboy Joe, aka Capricorn One, the co-host. And welcome back, everyone. We had I'll give it a subpar outing yesterday with the Giants, and so we're gonna just chop it up about that, and I guess we could do showed up and showed out, and then we can also discuss our overall perspective of what we thought about the game, and so you want to welcome everybody back and tell them what you want to talk about today.
So, welcome back to the show. This is Cowboy Joe, also known as Capricorn One. And, you're going to have to kind of carry us on the first part of the game because, I kind of missed it, live in action. So, I had to kind of go back and watch the replay. But, the first person that stood out was DeMarvion Overshown. He looked like the same guy that played against Cleveland that coaching staff decided for whatever reason they was going to just not playing much against, I believe it was the Saints, right?
Yes.
So you can see when he plays, he makes an instant impact. So, but hopefully the rest of the way he can just be inserted in because at this point, you're going to really need him with the injuries that we got, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. But some of the guys that we got hurt in this game last night, and a lot of people probably going to try to say they want to try to put him as a edge rusher. He's not that. He's a linebacker, but he's a playmaker that's going to be needed. With the guys injured.
I know they better not say that.
You think he can pass rush?
No, I don't think he can pass rush at all.
Oh,
I don't.
okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm so right now. Maybe it's just maybe it's just me, or maybe I'm overreacting. But I'm so sick and tired of the Michael rushing a passer deal. I mean, this is going to be a chicken and the eggs type of deal with Micah. Got some fans that think that he's a better pass rusher than he is linebacker. Some think that he should be playing the line, and some things he should be playing um, as linebacker. I'm one of the people that think he needs to play at linebacker. To me, it makes no sense to have Patrick McQueen, Fred Warner rushing the line against 300-pound offensive linemen every single game, every single play. The best player on your team is tired in the second and third quarter and in the fourth quarter because he's going up against the offenses two or three best players every single down. And if he gets one sack on 1st and 10 and then they convert it the next on 2nd and 15 the next play, that sack meant absolutely nothing. And so also, if they're running the ball down your throat like crazy and Michael's rushing the passer and running past the line of scrimmage because it's a play action, I mean, Micah Parsons has games where he has one or two tackles, and that's the norm for him. Normally, he has one or two tackles because they are just blindly leaving him at the edge and just destroying, to me, just wasting his talent. He is one of the fastest players on the team. He should be lining up next to Overshawn. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I'll let you take it from here. I don't think that Michael should be playing edge like that at all. He can rush from the middle of the field. He can rush from linebacker. What's the point of him playing at edge 24/7? I just don't understand. I don't get it.
Well, we're kind of beating a dead horse with it. He just needs to move around. He can play both. He can play edge, left and right. He can play off-ball linebacker. That's what he did against Cleveland
Now,
with
now,
success.
now, wasn't it Zim, or wasn't it the narrative of the offseason that Micah was going to be moving around and playing off ball linebacker more and all of that? We have seen
Yeah.
the exact opposite, haven't we?
That was a direct quote from Zim. He said that we didn't want to put him in situations where he can be targeted. People would know where he is,
Okay.
and that's what they did against Cleveland. So, man, I don't really know what's happening, but so now we know that Micah and Tank. So they're saying Tank has the worst outcome of the injury, and
Mhm.
and Micah with the high ankle sprain. I mean, that could easily be 3 weeks. It could be 4 or 5. And one of the concerns I have with Dallas, and when they have injured players, they kind of tend to rush them back. So the player, you got to look out for yourself. And so I
Mhm.
know Micah's, he's going to be up for a big contract. So I'm hoping Michael plays it smart, don't rush himself back. If it's
Mhm.
4 weeks, just take 4 weeks. If it's 5 weeks, it's 5 weeks. At this point, if we're gonna talk about the offense here, at this point, the offense has to take the reins and take over and start winning games. Start putting points up on the board. I've watched a lot of content creators today. They all kind of have the same theme.
Mhm.
Will Steele, Vach, um, Brian brought us. Shout out to them. Everybody's talking about the comeback and the hitch routes,
Mhm.
and it's
Mhm.
just amazing that McCarthy is kind of falling back on what got him fired at Green Bay. That's what happened when his last couple of years. He just got really stale and predictable, and you running these hitches and comeback routes with Cooks. And what's going to happen is these defenders, they're just going to start sitting on our routes, and it's just not a lot of separation for you to get the ball down the field. We saw last night. Didn't get Tolbert. Tolbert with Tolbert a little bit, but didn't get Turpin involved. So it's a lot of questions offensively coming out of this game based on what we can see. But uh, Jordan Lewis had a real good game, I thought. So Jordan Lewis over Sean. Um,
Mozzie had the best game of his career. Mozzie,
Mozzie is the other All Star of the game. A pleasant surprise. You want to talk about Mozzie because you talking about him when I came in.
yeah, I'm a Mozzie fan. I really, for some reason, normally I'm black and white when it comes to players. If they're not cutting it, they're not cutting it, and I'm not gonna, I don't have any room for sympathy or nothing like that. But Mozzie, for some reason, something tells me that I'm rooting for Mozzie. I don't know why. So I'm rooting for Mozzie, and I think he had a wonderful game last night. I don't know if it's because the Giants are just garbage or is it because he's picking it up. But from what I'm hearing, he's getting better and better every game. And last night, it's shown. He looked like a totally different player. He was where he was supposed to be. A lot of times I see Mozzie. What Mozzie will do that'll just make me so mad is Mozzie will be so into the play that he will just forget what's going on around him, and he will like for instance, last game against the Ravens. It was several plays where Mozzie was so engaged and so focused on beating the guy in front of him that he would be spent around pushing the guy down the field the other way. Like he was an offensive lineman. That's how engaged he would be. That he would be so engaged and so blind to what's going on around him that he would totally forget. Hey, I'm supposed to push this guy back, release, and then tackle somebody, not turn him around and push him towards you know what I mean? Like he would be so engaged that he would just be way over here engaged with somebody. But it's just his drive. So he didn't do any of that yesterday. And he was just where he was supposed to be. He made play after play after play. They could not run the ball. The reason why they couldn't run the ball, our linebackers was active. Overshawn, Overshawn, uh, it really looked like every time he hit somebody, they were going to get hurt. That's how fast and how hard he was hitting. I mean, it was just like when he would hit you, you stop, and when you get up, you grimacing like, man, he ain't have to hit me like that. Like He literally it looked like when Overshawn hitting somebody, he's at the peak of his sprint. That's what it looked like every time. And then but the reason why Overshawn looked so good and the reason why our linebackers looked so good yesterday was because Mozzie was playing good. They couldn't run the Mozzie side. And they really couldn't run to the other side either because those defensive linemen wasn't doing bad. Mozzie got the highest rated player on PPR um on the for the Cowboys last night. He was the highest rated Cowboy. He was rated over Dak. Dak was an 80. Mozzie was an 85.
So how did Linville Joseph look? Did he could you tell that he was playing better?
Yeah, but I really couldn't tell. I really wouldn't. I would have to go back and watch the film because I was only paying attention to Mozzie. That's
Mm.
how good he was looking. It wasn't really the defense. Linville Joseph, them they were doing they played average.
Well, they stopped the running game
They
because
did.
the Giants had been having some success running the ball.
Hmm.
So I think they had like 20 some yards rushing.
Yeah, it was bad. They couldn't rush, and they averaged like 1 point something per yard. But it was bad because. But I'll say this again. They play average. They play like what I mean. Like they stopped the run like they were supposed to. But Mozzie was making plays.
Yeah,
He was standing out.
Mozzie and Overshawn.
Oh, Overshawn, he looked dangerous out there. And then Agent Zero, I think he need to. I think they're gonna have to go ahead and give him number 0 over Micah.
Yeah, this is one of these quirky things that Jerry does some weird stuff. Whether it's you're gonna wait 15, 20 years to put Jimmy in the Ring of Honor. You just got a lot of weird stuff that he does. This thing with the not wanting to give Overshawn the number 0 jersey, and some people were saying it's because Rowdy is 00.
Yeah,
What
Rowdy
is
is
it?
00.
What do they have to do with the players? It's just goofy.
Nothing but 0 is not. But that's not the answer because someone is going to wear 0. They just haven't released who it is, and I think it's Micah because Micah
But,
said he wanted 0.
but why would Michael want 0?
That's what he said he wanted.
Yeah,
When the league, you can go back and look at his
yeah.
Twitter and everything. When the league made the announcement that they were going to allow teams to assign the number the jersey 0, Michael was making headlines saying that he want that number.
And
That's what number he want. But that was before Overshawn was here.
and that's just that's goofy. But hey, but and then Micah really has taken a number 11 and taken it, and made it a great number because that's the number that
Colin
Colin is
wears.
wearing too. So
I want to know.
you
We're gonna have to ask Colin. Is that why he chose that number? And I know he really looks up to Micah.
well
You can tell.
well yeah, that's one of the questions that we're gonna ask him about. But yeah, but going back to the game. So, defensively, we can't really complain a lot. 27, we can't pronounce his name. He came in and really, held it down. I was really kind
Shocked,
of disappointed with Booth. I
man.
like Booth in the preseason, especially the way he tackled. But, you kind of saw last night why he's been kind of floating around from a couple of teams. Kind
Mhm.
of disappointing that he kind of had the breakdowns. But
But
27 came in. Yeah.
I do like the fact that Zim said, you know what, you're not gonna cause us to lose this game, and he said it
Yeah.
on the bench. And then I can't pronounce number 27 name, but I'm calling him Penn State. That's where he came from.
Yeah. I saw he was a Penn State product, but I like, look, I just like the way guys look when they jump off the screen. He looks like a corner where he did last night. So that's all we have to go on. So now we know that he can play. He's probably going to
Mhm.
be needed. Uh, Jordan Lewis was great. We mentioned that earlier.
Mhm.
Izzy got some playing time. I know some of the content creators wanted Izzy to get a look at corner. I don't know why they won't give Izzy a shot at corner, but hey, it is what it is. But we did see him play. Still didn't see Wanye. I'm just like it's puzzling what's happening with some of the personnel usage. Just enough plays to go around for all of these guys. It wouldn't look for you to take two safes, and I'm losing my train of thought. Uh,
Malik Hooker and Bell.
well, Bell is hurt. Donovan Wilson.
Donovan Wilson, I mean.
It's not hurting you anything to give some of those snaps to Wanye. So I just
Mm-mm.
don't understand what's happening there.
And especially because Wanye is a playmaker.
Yeah, and that's what we need.
You know what I mean? Like Wanye do things that he'd come in and get an interception.
Yeah. So that's kind of the defense. So let's talk about the offense while we're seeing some of these offensive plays. You know,
Uh, Flournoy was not active.
Flournoy was not active again, which is very aggravating. And look, let me tell you something. Based on what we got right now ahead of us, we have to increase the productivity on the offense, and you're going to need all of your weapons. You're going to need Flournoy. You're going to need John Stevens. At this point, it's inexcusable not to have those guys active. Now, uh, with Tank and Micah not being there, that leaves two spots. Um, you got to fill that the back end with some defensive players, but you got to give Flournoy and John Stevens active. It's just inexcusable. You need as many playmakers on the field that you have. You see CD, but all the attention is on CD, and you got to diversify this offense. And everybody is talking about the the comeback routes. And McCarthy, I'm gonna tell you something. The way he's calling these games, we're going to be looking at the half point of the season. We're looking at 3-5, 4-4. I'll be surprised because of the way he's calling the offense. If he just starts doing a little something different, we can get into some shootouts, and we can just play sound defense. We can win some games, but you're not going to be able to win these games scoring 17 points a game, and you're not going to be able to win it kicking 60, 65-yard field goals.
70-yard field goals. To your point, Dak, I wanted to say this to everybody. I was thinking about this last night. Dak is looking great. Um, like last night, all of even though like he's playing against McCarthy, I feel like, when you have to throw hitch routes and when you have to throw comeback routes, those are plays that if you don't throw that ball right at the perfect time, that could easily be an interception or a pick six. That could easily a hitch route could easily get you negative yards all the time. You can easily get your wide receiver killed. So you can easily throw him a medicine ball on all of those plays. But Dak was threading the needle. Like he was literally putting the ball right where it needs to go. His throws were perfect. Where his I'm not seeing Dak missing. He might miss a throw or here or there, but I'm not seeing him constantly overthrowing people or constantly missing throws. I'm not seeing him overlook people. He might miss Brandon Cooks here or there, but Dak is looking good. So if to your point, if McCarthy just opened up the playbook and did anything different, we would outscore every team we play like last year. And McCarthy made a strange comment to me. I don't know if it was strange or what. Last night he kept saying, "This is the first game I've called all season where I was able to call all 4 quarters of plays." And he said that like 3 or 4 times. He kept saying,
Meaning what?
that's what I'm trying to figure out. He said, this is the first game where I've been able to call plays all 4 quarters.
So the Cleveland game, we keep going back to that. The Cleveland game, he called plays. The ball was going downfield to all of the receivers. It went downfield to Cooks. It went downfield to Tolbert, downfield to CD. I just don't understand what's going on with him with his play calling, where he says to himself, I'm just going to reel the offense in, and we're just going to do hitch routes and comeback routes. So it's just, but this is the kind of thing that will get coaches in trouble. And so, yeah, he just has to, do a better job. I thought Rico, this was his best game to me. Rico should be the number one back. Zeke contributed. What you had last night with the mix between Rico and Zeke, that's the way we need to play it. Just Rico should be primary. Let Zeke come in and contribute, and that's the recipe for just a balanced running game. we got to talk about Tyler Guyton. I was just watching the replay last night. I was literally just sitting there laughing as I'm watching him just go WWE, where uh, he's grabbing the defender,
and laying them.
throwing him on the ground, then with his hands up in the air, like he's literally like in WWE. And
Mhm.
so they're going to figure out what they're going to do if they're going to get him some help over there. But a lot of it is just technique. What you're seeing with Guyton is some of the concerns that people had when we were talking about drafting him. A lot of people were against drafting Guyton, and so he's kind of showing some of that. Um, Now we play Pittsburgh next week. You can rest assured that they're going to line TJ Watt up against Guyton for the entirety of the game.
Yeah. And
So the
so
Cowboys better have a strategy for that.
yeah, they better get somebody over there. Ferguson needs to be over there, and Zeke or Rico need to be over there on every pass and play. They need to be over there helping, and also um, they need to make him overextend. They need to make soon as TJ Watt get up in there and think as soon as he get past Guyton, the ball need to be coming out, going right over his head or right around him. But also, um, before we move on to the line, Lukey. Every time that they give him the ball, he makes a play every single time. And he had a handful last night. He got a couple first downs. On 4th and 1, he got a first down. He almost fell, and he used his hand to stay up. And he got like 5 or 6 yards. If he didn't trip right there, it probably would have been like a 30-yard game. But also, I think he caught a pass yesterday to where it was just like I,
Yeah, it was a tough catch. It was kind of over the middle, and it was a
yeah.
dart, and he caught it.
The only receiver that I have confidence that would have caught that ball is CD.
Yeah, but what you saw there is that he was involved in a play that was downfield. It wasn't a hitch or a comeback route. He was just running up
Look
the
at these
the seam.
comeback
The
routes.
seam.
We
I
should have
mean,
been
it's
should have been counting because I
I
can.
don't. Well, there's so many. I was listening to Vosh. Shout out to Vosh Lombardi. He had a graph that he was using, a graphic that was just showing
I seen it.
I mean, it's just really, really weird what McCarthy is going. But like McCarthy, I said today, he's probably catching a break by Micah and Tank being injured. But what
Mm-hmm.
needs to happen is he shouldn't catch a break. This should be the time when he says to himself, we got to win games offensively. We got to score 25, 30 points a game. We can't score 17. We can't score 16. Now, he's been in the game a long time. He's got the weapons. If we lose games because we're scoring 17 points a game, then he shouldn't get any breaks.
That's on
Because
him.
yeah, it's on him.
I mean, look, this is reminiscent. You remember how in those Garrett days, and we literally have to call them the Garrett days because it was 10 years, y'all. 10 years. Okay, so I literally went from a boy to a man while Garrett was the coach. That's how long he was the coach. But anyways, uh, and he was failing the whole time. He had a good year where he got coach of the year. So I'll give him that. But um, let's let's remember this is reminiscent. You remember how with Garrett would have one player out. It don't matter where this player was. This player could be on offense or defense. If he got one tackle out, game is over. Game is over. They're gonna dominate us from start to finish. Remember when we played Atlanta that time?
Yeah, the left tackle.
The left tackle was getting toasted the whole game, and they just like didn't put anybody over there to help him. Like they
Yeah,
just
that
didn't.
that was a fireable offense.
That was a fireable offense. But that it went like that for the duration of his tenure. Anytime we had a player out, they could not overcome it. So,
Well, and it was also on the opposite side of the ball. If you were playing Dallas and you
mhm,
had a starting right or left tackle out, you were playing a rookie at left or right tackle.
they rookies would
Defensively,
dominate us.
yeah, defensively, we didn't do anything to take
Mm-mm,
advantage of that matchup. It was just
no.
like the starter was there. So yeah, so
Hmm.
McCarthy, he's showing some Garrett tendencies. It ain't no question about it. But
Yeah.
see,
So.
it's not really a Garrett tendency. It's just a bad coaching tendency. See,
Mhm.
a lot of people don't put premium on coaching. I do. Because I just think my thought process about the NFL, really about any sport. It was NBA, baseball. We saw it last year with Bruce Bochy. The
Shout
coach
out to
matters. Like in the Super Bowl, it's been, what are we on now? 50 what? You have to look it
That's a
up.
good question. 53, 54. I don't know.
So you can literally say it's not that many winning Super Bowl coaches, and that's a reason because it takes a good coach to win it. But it's a whole lot of average coaches that just get to hang around, and then people just say, "Oh, he did this good, he did that good. We went 12-5 3 years in a row." Okay, but the question is, what are you doing to take your team over the top? Now he has a ring; you can't take that away from McCarthy. Um,
Aaron
but
Rodgers has a ring.
well, Aaron Rodgers has a ring now. I will say this about Aaron Rodgers: a lot of people don't say this. So he won a ring, and McCarthy won a ring together. Neither one of them did anything as far as championships after that. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it goes both ways. But be that as it may, McCarthy, as long as he's been around the game, he has to know that you got to do something to free your players up. And I told you last week, players don't quit. Like you'll say, players they quit on the coach. They don't quit on the coach. They quit on the system. They quit on
The
what
scheme.
you're throwing out there. And if you come out here for the next 4 or 5 weeks and you're running comeback and hitch routes, this offensively, CD, Jake Ferguson, Turpin, Tolbert, they'll quit on McCarthy
Mm-hmm.
because they know that this is not NFL quality scheme that we're running. They know that they're better. These guys are talented. He has talent, but he's not using it.
And another thing too, Dak talking about being professionals and all of this kind of stuff. What he also on our team, we got some people on our team. They will say what they feel. DeMarcus Lawrence will, Michael Wills, I think CD will. They will tell you coaching sucks. They will say that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we've heard them say that before. We've heard them say it. So they will say that. So McCarthy better watch out. And also, I think that Dak is so much of a leader that I think that if McCarthy continues to just mess up like that, I really want to see Dak be like, you know what, we not, we I'm doing what I got to do to win these games. I'm not fooling with you, McCarthy. I
Uh,
think that Dak got a little bit of that in him. I hope I'm right.
well, the thing that we got to be kind of positive about is last year the exact same thing happened, and then CD and Dak. Now
Comeback,
the rumor was,
comeback route.
yeah, the rumor was that Dan Quinn went to McCarthy as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we're early enough, but I think Dak and CD they'll go in and talk to McCarthy again. They really should do it this week. They need to be proactive and just tell him, what you're doing is not working. The other person that needs to have some scrutiny is Mike Solari, the offensive line coach. Mike Solari, Mike Solari is, for the most part, I believe he's like 80 years old. Mike Solari was a coach with Tom Landry back in the 70s. So we're starting to see some things on the offensive line that kind of makes you look at the offensive line coach as well. So I know we've got that Duke Manyweather, which is the offensive line guru across the street from the Cowboys. I mean, for all practical purposes, he is the offensive line coach. But Solari had some opportunities too. Now there was some discussion about BB. How did you think he played? Did he? Because I saw something today that said he graded high compared to some of the other centers or rookies in the league. I forget what the stat was. So was your observation that he did a good job, or was he getting pushed back?
A little bit of both, but He did a good job for the most part. He had more good plays than he did bad plays, but it was some plays where he was just like when he would go up against Dexter Lawrence, you could tell he was a rookie. Dexter Lawrence was just ragdolling him.
And then some people that I follow, what they were saying is that there's this thought that they really believe that he's a guard in the NFL, and what they're saying is that there are times while playing the center position that he forgets he's a center, because the way you play center and way you play guard is different.
Yeah, and I think that what they're gonna do is they're gonna draft the center in the first round next year.
And this eventually move him to guard.
Oh, Zach Martin gonna retire next year.
Yeah, and that's that'll be a really smart move if they can just get another center.
You could
And,
always use free agency as well.
yeah, and we know how that goes. But yeah, that he might just be a guard.
I think he is, no doubt. I think he is, no doubt. I think he's Zach Martin replacement, and I think that he's gonna play center this year, and he's gonna play guard next year. That's what I believe. And one thing that you're gonna see, why I say he did good and bad, is that, you know what? Now that you say that, I even break it down like this: he did great on the guard type of plays, and he did bad on the center type of plays. But that's pretty much how I can put it.
So what you're saying is that in the running plays he was okay.
He was awesome.
In pass protection he
wasn't that good.
But he was awesome in running plays, but in pass protection that's where he kind of
correct. When you got to go up against 1-on-1 against Dexter Lawrence, you're getting bulldozed, and you're getting pushed in the back.
You get the snap off and the count and all of that.
Right, but when you got to line up and go forward and go that way and take this guy and move him over there, he doing that.
And then he's also probably better when he has to pull or when the play is going away from him. But when he snaps the ball and he's got to have somebody right in his face coming, trying to break down the middle of the pocket.
Oh yeah,
that's probably what's happening.
When they call a play and his assignment is to pull and go to the left or to the right, he's smoking somebody. Somebody getting smoked.
Yeah.
That's his MO. He was like that in college. It don't matter. He's done it a couple of times in the league to where he got the pull. This dude is getting smoked, and right after this dude gets smoked, he's smoking that dude.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I personally don't think that Tyler Smith is a tackle. I think Tyler Smith is a guard.
Well, nah, Tyler Smith is he's an average tackle and he's an all-pro guard. Yeah. That's how you can break that down. He's an average. Who was that? Oh yeah, I hated that play, but because he missed that tackle.
That was Hooker.
Yeah, that was Hooker, and we seen a lot of that yesterday too, man. Like missed tackles.
Hooker and Donovan Wilson are missing a lot of tackles,
and so I don't know
what that's all about.
And so is Kendricks.
Yeah. So Kendricks, it's some guys that they're showing you why they were available. I thought Kendricks was outstanding against Cleveland. So to me, watching the game, Kendricks, he wasn't bad as he was against New Orleans. So you got to kind of, that some of these guys, it's a reason that they're available. We just need them just to hold a fort down. I think he can do that.
Now, but I want to make a point real quick. I'm gonna let you finish. We watching these highlights, right? And as you notice, we're not really paying attention to the highlights. Like we're not like watching them and studying them. But it's certain players that are just jumping off the screen to us that we have to say something about, right? Like, oh my God, did you just see that play that he just made? You know who we haven't even noticed? Micah. We haven't even noticed him. You know why? Because he's being taken out of the play every single play. They can go a whole series on defense, a whole quarter on defense. If you didn't know Micah Parsons was one of the best NFL players in the league, you wouldn't even know it. You would just say he's number 11. You wouldn't even know that he's a special type of guy because he's not being used in a special way. He's just the guy that just commands attention and they give it to him and nothing happens. So I'm really frustrated with that. I just think that the Cowboys for so long have missed out on great linebacker play. I mean, like for so long, we haven't had great linebacker play. And the fact that we drafted the best linebacker in this generation and they are playing him 99% of the time at edge, it's just very, very, very frustrating to me. Now Overshawn is back and he's good, but it's just it's just really frustrating to me that you have a player
Well,
like Micah
the
and you
answer is
can't
to
cover
just
him.
move him around. It's people that absolutely will fight you on that he needs to play edge. He's a once
Mhm.
in a lifetime player. He needs to play edge. It's also people that are saying that he needs to play linebacker. It's really both. He needs to just move around and he can rush the passer from the A gap. So
Mhm.
just move him around. And if he ends up playing more plays at edge, I mean that's fine.
You
But
should
they
just
need
do
to
it
move
based
him
off of
around.
the game. You should do it based off of the team. Like if this team has a weak have a weak offensive line, then he should play the
Yeah,
majority of snaps on the line. And if this team is a team that has a
running
really
team.
a running team and have a really good line, he should play linebacker. Did Lawrence Taylor just play one position and he was just on the field stationary?
No, he moved around.
Okay.
He was primarily an edge, but he would basically just move around. He would play sideline to sideline. He for the most part. See, Lawrence Taylor just giving you a tales from the Cowboy OG story, and I saw a little bit of a snippet. He did an interview. I think he was on. It was like one of those Shannon Sharp type shows,
Hmm.
and he was telling a story of Parcells was a head coach, and they had just started winning, and they had this coach on the coaching staff. He was kind of like a nerdy type guy. He was there. He was cutting up film, going over different things. He really wasn't like a coach. He didn't have a position or nothing. So
Hmm.
this guy's, he's kind of he would just jump in and out of practice, talk about different things. And so he says that next thing he know, Bill Parcells is telling the team that this coach is the new defensive coordinator. And he said when he found out that this coach had been hired as a coordinator, he said he went to Bill Parcells' office and he basically like just got into a cussing match with Parcells, where the coach was Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I say Belichick.
So he said after Bill Belichick came in and became a defensive coordinator, he was just dismayed how great of a coach he was. And of course, everybody knows Bill Belichick made Lawrence Taylor. Now that 3-4 defense, you and I have talked about how Tom Landry perfected the shotgun and the third down back in that. Bill Parcells and Belichick, they perfected the 3-4. The 3-4 was a defense that was ran in the league, but it was an unusual defense. Well, they perfected it. They did it like no one had ever done it. And the way they did it was with that player. They turned, like you see DeMarcus Ware, you see Von, who you went to high school with, Von Miller.
Hmm.
Back in our day, it was what was the linebacker name? He played for the Chiefs. He actually drowned. Derek, Hall of Famer. It'll come to me in a minute. So those guys, they all came from the Lawrence Taylor tree. And so I said all of that to say this: the way Lawrence Taylor was played, he would move around, but he was a 3-4 linebacker. He was an edge. So Micah's natural position, if you ask me, he's a 3-4 edge linebacker. That's what
Derek
he is.
Derek Thomas.
Derek Thomas. That's so you got the Derek Thomases, the LTs, all of those guys. They Bill Belichick built that defense and he perfected. There was no Lawrence Taylor before Lawrence Taylor. He was the mold.
Hmm.
So, but in the Cowboy, a lot of people will say the Cowboys need to go to a 3-4. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's Michael's actual natural position. When you listen to Nate Newton, I know you listen to DallasCowboys.com.
Hmm.
Nate Newton absolutely, absolutely hates Michael playing edge.
Hmm. I do too.
He talked about it this week because that's not his natural position. His natural position is a 3-4 edge linebacker where he's standing up. Well, we're gonna see it this Sunday. Okay.
Why?
Um,
Why are we gonna see it this Sunday?
TJ Watt.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
That's his natural position. And by the way, that's why Rob Marinelli didn't want TJ Watt because
That's correct.
he's not an end.
Hmm.
But what they should have did, they should have told Rod Marinelli, we're drafting him. We don't really because you're not you're almost 80 years old. Why are we listening to you?
Yeah. What do you run?
We're gonna just take the player.
They didn't
And
though.
but now just kind of getting ahead of ourselves. If Bill Belichick ended up being the Cowboys coach, that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
They're,
and I
they're
mean,
gonna they're gonna switch to the 3-4. But even Bill Belichick, he plays everything. He plays 4-3. He plays 3-4. He does it all. But he's gonna have Micah playing that same role that LT played because he he's the Frankenstein of the Dr. Frankenstein of that position,
mhm.
and LT is the Frankenstein's monster.
That's what you got to do in this league. I mean, in order to stop these teams, you have to be able to do both of those things. But you see, Zim, I don't know if he's just getting his feet wet or what the situation may be, but it's not.
I don't know what Zim is doing because got to remember too, Zim Parcells made Zim switch to the 3-4.
Mhm.
He told Zim, "I want you to learn the 3-4 defense in this offseason." And in that draft, they drafted DeMarcus Ware, Marcus Spears, Chris Canty. They did an entire draft to go to the 3-4.
Listen, when I play Madden, right, and I'm playing
Mm-hmm.
against someone, it's three playbooks that I use on defense. It's one that they have called multiple D, where they have like multiple defensive schemes, and then it's the Patriots. And the reason why I play with the Patriots defense, well, I can use the Patriots you can use the Patriots playbook, but only with your team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I use the Patriots playbook, and it just dawned on me when you said that that's the reason why. It's because they have both of those schemes in their defensive playbook. They have the 3-4 and the 4-3. And the other one
Yeah.
that I play with is the Raiders. The Raiders have the both too. They have like a multiple D scheme to where they play both. So it's just like, and I used to do Seattle, but I changed it to multiple D and I changed it to the Patriots because the Patriots have that defense where they have 3-4 setups and they
Yeah.
have 4-3 setups.
So Matthew Judon,
Mm-hmm.
that's what he plays. He's just a 3-4 edge.
Yeah, like
Edge
Randy
linebacker.
Gregory would have been that. Randy Gregory played that in college.
That's Randy Gregory's natural position, but Gregory, yeah, he's really kind of both.
Yeah.
He actually fit in a 4-3 quite well. But no, Micah Nate Newton. Every time they talk about Micah playing edge, Nate Newton just goes off the deep end because he knows that Micah. Now the concern I have about Micah is when you start getting wore down because you're just using that kind of energy down in and down out. I was watching the game last night before he got hurt. I said to myself, they need to take Micah out of this game. He's gonna get hurt. And a couple plays later, and what happened is Micah is getting held. He's getting tackled. So he got injured. He was actually tackled on that play. No flag.
And it happens every week in and week out. And then they wonder why week 15 comes around and Micah disappears. That's just so strange to them, but it just makes so much sense to everyone else. It's just like, what don't y'all get?
Zimmer is going against everything he said before the season started.
Well, they all do that because Mike McCarthy did that.
Yeah, I don't. Look, man. Like I said earlier, coaching matters, and what they finna have to be the next 3 or 4 weeks until Michael and Tane get back. These coaches are gonna have to be at the top of their game because at this point, you're gonna win games by coaching.
Oh, star up, star down. Mike McCarthy got to start down, and Zim did. I mean, showed up, showed out. Mike McCarthy negative. Zim negative.
I thought Zim was okay last night.
I think he was all right. Well, you know what? I'll take that back. Zim showed up.
Based on you gotta look at he lost the corner too.
Oh, he really showed up because he lost the corner. He lost the two edges. He lost three best players on his team. He lost Micah, DeMarcus Lawrence, and
Trey is not 100%.
Nah,
You can
that's
just tell.
obvious.
Now he had
Now
a really impressive play when he ran.
up under that ball,
Yeah,
but
that was Trey, right? That's what you're expecting, but
yeah,
he's got a little bit of uh
he not 100%. He not cutting. Everything else
yeah,
he
he's not
looking
cutting.
good on. He still has his 4-4 speed and all of that, and he can let the wide receiver. The name of his game to me is he lets his makeup speed is better than most. So
Yeah,
what?
and people, a lot of people probably listen to our show and other shows. Anybody that had knee surgery, it really is like a year and a half, 2 years. I had knee surgery, and it was literally 18 months to 2 years before I could actually run and cut. Now I could run straight, but
Mhm.
just running and cutting, I couldn't do it. So these guys, you gotta give them a lot of credit for coming back, but still, this
Well,
you
let
put
me tell you
in
something.
work.
Overshawn is cutting.
Well, Overshawn is now. I told you, some guys are just like that. Michael
Yeah.
Irvin was one of those guys. Michael Irvin had that catastrophic knee injury.
You said that. You said
He returned,
Overshawn. He had
and
come from
Overshawn
humble beginnings, and
from the
he go.
beginnings,
Hmm.
he had the same makeup as Mike, that same fiery. You just watch Overshawn play. He has that extra adrenaline. So yeah, when you got that, and you just trying to make it. He's got a big family. He's probably the money, the what do you call it? Lose my train
The
of thought.
breadwinner.
The breadwinner for 7 to 8 people. So he knows that. And they said that Michael Irvin actually hooked up with Overshawn doing his rehab. Now I want to see the same thing from John Stevens. Just puzzling to me that they haven't got him back in the flow,
Mm-mm-mm.
and they
So
need him.
they need him bad because he's a playmaker, and Flournoy too. It's puzzling to me, and I would have games where I feature Lukey. Lukey would be lining up in the backfield if he was on my team. On multiple plays, he would get the ball, just like Zeke. And as a matter of fact, those balls that go to Zeke will go to Lukey. And then also just like how they do Rico. I mean, it just makes no sense. If I had a running back that was going to go out of the field and catch the ball out of the backfield, it would be Lukey. There
Well,
would be no question about that.
to your point, the 49ers, they run the same offense. I think they are red apple, we're a green apple, but their fullback, and his name escapes me.
Yeah.
I believe Honey Lupke is just as talented as he is, and they use him. But
Mm-hmm.
Mike McCarthy is not doing the same.
No. And everybody's talking about, see, this is how you could tell how good the 49ers scheme is. It's just like you can plug and play. Now, they back up running back. You can't even tell Christian McCaffrey is out.
No.
That's because you can just they scheming them open. So, it's something else that I wanted to say too about that. I mean about
Who do the 49ers play Sunday?
let me look it up. While I'm looking that up, last
They
year,
got they got some big injuries too.
yeah, they got some injuries. They got some problems. I mean, we ain't gonna, they playing the Patriots, so they got an easy game. They're playing the Patriots, so I'm gonna say this. Last year, or was it the year before last? It was the year before last when uh Dak went out, and we had that 5 or 6 game schedule. When Dak went out, we had that 4 or 5 games that we had to play, and we
Hmm.
won those games because the defense stepped up, and the defense won those games, and we was winning those games like 17-10. We was winning them games like 23-20. So
Yep.
it was Dan Quinn doing that. Now it's McCarthy turn. It's McCarthy
Yeah.
turn to
Yeah.
to 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 outscore these teams, and we have to win with our offense. And another thing that
It's
I
on the
hope that happens,
offense.
it's on the offense. Another thing I want to happen is, the Cowboys, they always, I don't know what you call it, but situations arise out of turmoil for the Cowboys. Like Randy Gregory. When Randy Gregory got signed and then reneged on the contract and didn't get signed. And I think it was that situation, and I think it was Demarcus Lawrence might have got hurt. He hurt his foot. Without that, we wouldn't have never seen Micah play edge. You know, Micah
Yep.
had to play edge because of that, and then he turned out to be one of the greatest pass rushers we've ever seen. Also, you know, they were going to draft Patrick Surtain in the first place. If Patrick
Hmm.
Surtain would have been there, we wouldn't even know. We wouldn't even have Micah. So
Right.
that's another situation. Then look at the Tony Romo situation. Tony Romo got hurt. We really wanted Tony Romo to get hurt, to play, but Kellen Moore also had broke his arm. So Kellen Moore would have been the quarterback for
Hmm.
sure, but he had broke his arm, and so we had to play Dak. Next thing you know, Dak is born, and so they have these situations to where you get lucky, or you get whatever you want to call it, and I'm hoping that that's what happens. Even with Bland, that happened with Bland. Trayvon got hurt last year,
Yep.
and next thing you know, Bland breaks the record for interceptions, pick sixes, and all of this. So it's
Yep.
all so it's like we get that kind of whatever you want to call it. And I hope that that happens with Micah and Tank being out. I hope that when Micah and Tank out, we get more sacks than we ever got this whole season. Because then it'll make them say, you know what? We don't even need Micah to rush the quarterback like that. He can play linebacker a lot more because we're having the same amount of productivity, if not more, with Nealon and Chauncey Ghost and whoever they put out there.
Yeah. This is Chauncey Golston's opportunity.
And your boy number 55,
Yeah.
with
This
him.
this is this is their this is their chance, and I think you are on the right track. But we need to also have the same thing happen on the offensive side of the ball, where the
Mhm.
offense kind of carries the weight until we can get Micah and Tank back.
They, the offense has to carry the weight for the rest of the season. Okay, if we're going to win this thing, or we're going to be on a win the games like that, like if we're going to win 12 games, now if I'm gonna say we're going to even get in the playoffs, the offense is going to have to be performing high. You know, I am a stat guy, even though I feel like stats only apply in the season for me. During the season, the stats matters. If you got the number one offense in the as far as putting up points, you average the most or whatever, or you have the best running stats or whatever, that's great during the season. But I don't care if you had the number one offense in the league. When you meet up with that one team in the playoffs that can stop you by outthinking you, none of that matters. You
Or
see,
being more physical than you.
or being more whatever exactly, being more physical than you, or being more
That's what's been happening to us too.
that you can be the number one high flying offense, but when you run up against the 49ers and they're more physical than you're gonna lose. So you can be the number one offense and have all these points and all of that, but when you get down 14 nothing or 21 nothing in a playoff, your offensive game plan changes at that point. You now you gotta now you're not balanced no more. Now you gotta throw it, and now you gotta be aggressive. And with aggressiveness come picks. And so you know all of that stats and stuff, and the number one offense, high flying, and all of this, that's great. But until Mike McCarthy and Zim can take a team and just out scheme the other team and out coach the other coach,
Our
you,
physical.
out physical, it's not gonna matter. It's like last night. That game was so sloppy and bad. We had 11. I think we had 9 penalties in the first half. Now we ended up with 11 penalties total, but we had 9 penalties in the first half. That was horrible. It was like every single play was a penalty. And the Giants, when you dueling it out with the Giants, who you beat the brakes off of every year, that says something.
Hey, something that we can research for our next show.
Mhm.
I'm thinking that after the first four games, I think our offensive penalties far outweigh what our defensive penalties are. I'm thinking most of our penalties on the offensive side. Um, so just kind of thinking about the game last night, did we have a lot of defensive penalties? or were they mostly on offense? Yeah, you
I,
got Guyton, you got BB. Uh,
you had penalties on Guyton.
who got defensive penalties?
That's what I'm trying to think.
So where I'm going with that is, I think Zimmer on the defensive side, our guys are playing more disciplined because because everybody complained about Dan Quinn when he was here. Now everybody's talking about how great he is since he gone. But one thing you cannot dispute defensively under Dan Quinn, the Cowboys is one of the most penalized teams in the NFL the whole time he was here.
Oh yeah.
So if
So
we can,
who? Who you
Dan
say?
Quinn,
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
a lot of them games that we lost to the 49ers in the playoffs, we had penalties on the defensive side of the ball killed us. So if Zimmer is if we're doing better, that's gonna pay off in the end. I think most of our penalties are on the offensive side, which again that goes back to McCarthy.
Mm-hmm. Oh
So we
yeah,
can
another. We're gonna talk about that next game because that's gonna take some extensive research. Because I'm just like gazing right now, surfing, and I'm not. I'm gonna have to find. I'm gonna have to really research that and find out. So we could talk about that on our next
I think
schedule. So we
I
could
think
wrap
we're
it
gonna
up.
find out that our offense is driving this penalty thing. So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap. We'll probably just we'll come back on Sunday and do a recording. You want to try to go live Sunday?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say that's concrete. We can try.
Yeah. All right.
But also, yeah, the refs totally messed up on that face mask penalty. They just
Yeah, they
gave
blew it.
they. If I was the Giants, I would be like,
Yeah, they missed that one.
yeah, they got to get fined for that.
But it all evens out because they just don't want to call holding on Micah.
Yeah, and that's not fair
Yeah,
because they do it every play.
yeah, and that's how he got hurt. You go back and watch that play. He was being held, and the guy fell on really from behind. If I'm not mistaken, that was
Mhm.
the way he got injured. He was in
And then,
between
yeah,
two guys, and one of the linemen
what's holding him?
fell on his leg. So man, we just look. We lucky that he wasn't no like an Achilles type injury, with no kind of knee. So Michael gonna bounce back, but he got to play it smart. Don't rush back because your career, you got a long career ahead of you. And the Cowboys, they tend to try to rush players back, and we don't want that. And then Tank ain't coming back till he ready.
Oh
So
yeah, Tank.
we ain't
You
got to
but
worry
hey
about
man,
that.
let me tell you something. Tank is a Tank is a businessman.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and wrap and talk to people about liking and sharing our channel, and
Okay.
which
Yeah.
can help
So
out, get us some more viewers and some more subscriptions and so forth.
yeah, so y'all make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe. Like my dad said, we appreciate all of the love and support that we're getting, and we're trying to increase our algorithm. Now we are getting YouTube is sending me messages and telling me that our views are going up. So everything that we're doing it good. YouTube is telling me that that our views are going up and we're averaging more and more every day. And we're getting a lot of people that's watching that's not even followers, according to what YouTube is saying. I think we got like 67 followers, and we're getting like 100 and 120 130 views on some of our videos, so that's great. And so we appreciate everyone. We're gonna, we're on episode 16, so we got a long way to go. It's a long season. We just at the beginning of the season. By the end of this season, we're gonna be professionals at this, and we're gonna have a lot more to do. We're gonna have a lot of more things that people we're going to be promoting, a lot of more interviews with athletes coming up soon. Um uh, Y'all know we shout out our cousin Colin all the time. Colin Simmons, number 11 for UT. We got it. We're gonna do an interview with Colin coming up. So shout out to Colin, and I got some things I'm gonna be working on with him, and I got some other things I'm gonna be working on with my dad. We got some projects that we're gonna show y'all, and it all revolves around Cowboys. And so we're just getting our feet wet. So we would appreciate if y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and stop what you're doing right now and like. And stop what you're doing right now and subscribe if you have not. If you have not subscribed, stop what you're doing right now and subscribe. It ain't gonna take nothing but 3 seconds to hit that notification bell and hit that thumbs up button. And like I said on my last video, even if you hit the thumbs down button, we just want you to be interactive. Hit the thumbs up button. Don't be afraid to share it. And we're real down to earth people. So we will we will reply to the comments. Shout out to Star. We got something coming up with her soon. Um, so
Yeah, we're
y'all,
gonna reach out to Star and see if we can do a show with her.
yeah,
And
I was watching Star video the other day. She was breaking down Mozzie, and that's a good video.
I think she put a new one out there today. I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I like that
Mm.
video that she did about Mozzie last week. I watched it several times, and she was spot on. You know, it take a lot of time and dedication to go over a video like that. Oh, one player.
Yeah.
You know, so
So just talk about like so you just people know you're a student at North Texas and you're gonna get back into doing your DJing. So once you kind of get back going, you'll be looking to get back into DJing. And tomorrow I'm a Noop
hmm,
Dallas alumni chapter Cap Alpha Psi. We're doing
that's a
our tailgate tomorrow, and so shout out to all of the Noops and all the Divine Nine members that are going to converge on Martin Luther King Junior Boulevard tomorrow in Dallas. There'll probably be about 3,000 people out there. So I'm going to try to get some of the Noops and some of the Divine Nine members to subscribe to our show. So we got that going on. So shout out to the Noops.
shout out to the noobs. And yeah, once I I'm gonna get my DJ thing going back. That's kind of where all of this started. My aspirations for media and everything. It really started with DJing. You know, my uncles, they were DJs, and I kind of been on it for a long time. And just my parents are just involved in music, all kinds. You know, I know how to play a few instruments, but anyways, uh, that's where my love for media started at. And then I love to do things like script writing. I love production, and that's what I go to school for: script writing, production, acting, voiceovers, things of that nature. So you all will be seeing me coming soon. This is really like my first YouTube channel that I've done and I'm produced, and it's going good and it's real fun. Doing it with my dad, and it's really, he inspired me to do it. I really just been kind of just, getting in my own way. And then my dad kind of was just like, let's just go, let's just do it. And it's working out great. So we appreciate all the support that you all have given us.
And we got something that's kind of unique that we have. We're kind of like a landmark for our community, something that we have at our home. So we're gonna be doing a video. That's gonna be your first production that you're gonna do a video.
On the landmark. We're not gonna tell y'all what it
this
is.
iconic landmark that we have at
That's right.
our property. So you're gonna be
That's
seeing
right.
that. It's gonna be cool. So I'm looking forward to how you're gonna set that up.
Absolutely. So with that being said, we'll see y'all on the next one. Appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all soon. Peace.